We all have limits we're placing on ourselves. Sometimes we know we're holding ourselves back, and other times our limits are invisible to us. We don't know we are limiting ourselves because of the blueprint we have, the filters we're looking through. So, in today's episode, we are exposing those limits so that you can expand what's possible and achieve bigger things in your life and your business. Are you ready? Let's go. One of the tools we use in coaching is called the Life Wheel. It's a simple but effective tool that helps you to get clear on where you're at in the key areas of your life, where you would like to be, and what you think needs to happen in order to get there. So here's how it works. You rate each area of your life or business on a scale of 1 to 10. A 1 means things are tanking, it's not going well. And a 10 means it's exactly how you want it to be. Everything is firing on all cylinders. Now, once we know what the baseline is for every area, we can now look at those problem areas and ask two very important questions. The first one is, why did you rate it the number that you did? So why did you give that area a 3 and not a 7? The second question is, what needs to happen in order to make it a 10? Now, the wheel shows us the gap, and it also allows us to explore the things that we think should happen in order to improve that specific area. It's a way for us to focus on one area at a time and make the changes we need to make where it will have the biggest impact on the bigger picture. Now, I have actually linked a copy of the wheel that I use with my clients for their businesses in the show notes. So go over there, grab your copy, and use it to gain some awareness of where you should focus your attention first. Now, the wheel gives us an insight into so many things. And as a coach, it also tells me what the unconscious limits are that you have placed on yourself that you didn't even realize you were doing. And I can see those limits clearly when you tell me what things will look like at a 10. It tells me where you are holding yourself back. I actually have a client who's been coaching with me for some time. And when we did this wheel exercise in her business, she rated her current annual revenue at the time at a solid 8. And when I asked her why she rated it an 8, her answer was, well, things are going well. I have a consistent stream of clients. Things are working well operationally. Things are just flowing. Things are going well in terms of the money coming into my business. Now, to get it to a 10, she wanted to increase her revenue by roughly 20%. Now, if she did, she would consider things to be at a 10. Now, in our discussion, it was very obvious that she was earning way below her potential. Her business could easily do double, even triple of what she was currently generating. And with small tweaks, she could have a massive impact on not only her business, but ultimately her entire life. Now, because my job is to challenge what she thinks is possible, I asked her the following question. What if what you think is an 8 right now is actually a 2? What if the ceiling you've set for yourself at the 10 is actually only a fraction of what is possible? What if you've set the ceiling too low? She was intrigued, a little bit skeptical, and it's because she hadn't actually gone to that place yet. She hadn't allowed herself to dream at a bigger level for herself or her business. And even when she did, it sounded like a nice idea, but it didn't actually feel doable or achievable for her. And this is not because she lacked confidence, not because she didn't believe in her abilities. She genuinely thought that she would be at her peak at that 20% increase. But what she didn't realize was her peak was actually just a plateau. Her current blueprint only allowed her to go to a certain level. Her current beliefs and her current perspectives kept that ceiling in place. You see, when we get to this place where we have almost stopped expanding our vision for ourselves, we get comfortable. We reach a certain level and we actually stop questioning how much further we can go. We tell ourselves this is as good as it gets. And it's not because it's true, but because we can't imagine anything beyond that. And not because we don't want more for ourselves, but simply because we haven't actually considered what could be available to us. It's almost like living in a house with a low ceiling and never looking up to realize there's a whole second floor above you. You keep bumping your head thinking, this is it, this is the limit, when really you've just been crouching all this time. And unless you had someone to actually show you that, hey, there's a little crawl space here, and when you get on the other side of it, there is a whole open space where you can stand up and there is a floor or two above you. So this is one of the reasons why I believe that everyone should have a coach. To have someone with a different perspective, someone that can challenge your status quo. Your coach doesn't have the same filter of belief that you have in you. In fact, coaches are trained to hold bigger, bolder beliefs for you, to call you higher. This is also why you need to put yourself in rooms where your thoughts are stretched beyond the limits of what you believe can be done. Rooms where people are doing things bigger than you've ever done, because that's where the real magic happens. It's because it will challenge you to expand what you think is possible. It will show you it is possible. And when you get coaching and you spend time with those who are further ahead, it will give your brain proof until you have seen enough proof to start believing it is possible for you too. So here's what I suggest. Look at the areas in your business that actually matter to you, your revenue, your team, the hours you work, and how much of that work that you're doing is work that you're actually enjoying. Rate all of them. Be honest, and then challenge yourself. Ask yourself what a 10 would look like, and then raise the ceiling. What if you've only scratched the surface of what's possible? How much more could you experience? How much bigger could your impact be? How much better could life get? Esther Hicks says the gap between where you are and where you want to be is only the difference in your beliefs. So let that sink in for a moment. Your comfort zone isn't just where you stop growing. It's where you've stopped imagining, where you've stopped playing with the edges of what you currently believe is available for you. The real growth happens when you taste those edges of the limits you've set for yourself, where you dare to ask for more. So, what if your ceiling is actually the floor? What if everything you thought was the peak is actually just the beginning? Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the podcast. I will chat to you again next week.